Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it so you don't have to.
The Nostalgia Critic is pretty interesting to talk about. What was once one of the biggest internet reviewers has now turned to a laughingstock for people to make fun of, and most people can see why. His content has been an absolute roller coaster over the years, and without fail, he keeps managing to make the worst thing ever.
Sploopity splooch.
When talking about Nostalgia Critic's worst work, it usually defaults into two of his projects: To Boldly Flee, a 3.5-hour pretentious send-off of his character,
Someplace where I can make sense.
and his musical review of The Wall, a 40-minute misunderstanding dumpster fire. Both have been covered extensively by other people, as well as his other failed projects.
That will be the title under it.
These two are special cases though, since they're both very awful obviously, and felt like they've been disconnected from reality when making it.
It's a review!
But for this video, I'm going to be focusing on a completely different episode. One that I feel like most people don't tend to bring up, but when revisiting the episode myself, it fills me with so much dread. And that is 2015's Christmas of the Cranks review. But first, a little context. For those who are unaware, the Nostalgia Critic is an internet series created by Doug Walker, where he reviews movies in an over-exaggerated and angry persona of himself. He used to review old nostalgic movies, but after a few years, he just reviews whatever the fuck he wants. He started in 2007 on YouTube, where he did his first set of reviews, as well as another series, 5-second movies.
Mr. Frodo!
But unfortunately, due to copyright violations, his channel was taken down a year later, forcing him to create his own website, thatguywiththeglasses.com, now known as Channel Awesome. There, he'd continue making episodes without the fear of copyright, as well as bringing in other reviewers along to the site. This resulted in a huge success for the website, as well as anniversary specials to celebrate it, which are less desirable to watch and less desirable for those involved, to say the very least. Doug decided to quit the Nostalgia Critic in 2012, not before making To Boldly Flee, where he decided to kill off his character and turn him into a god.
I am the Nostalgia Critic.
I wasted 3.5 hours on this garbage. His first and only project after quitting the show is Demo Reel, a comedy skit series where he plays a pretentious filmmaker making quote-unquote improved versions of already existing movies with his cast and crew.
We're not doing the super villain shuffle!
Most people didn't like Demo Reel. It was widely criticized for its humor and at times poor taste of his story, with an example of that being Doug using real-life tragedies of actors for his character Donnie Dupre.
Doug Walker used an actual woman's actual suicide as the backstory for his character. Like, sure, the names are changed, but not changed enough as to make it not obvious who he's talking about.
I won't talk much about Demo Reel, since there's already a video that covered it in its entirety. But needless to say, it was very bad and very short-lived, only having 6 full episodes and a few shortened specials. Demo Reel would see its true end in early 2013, with The Review Must Go On, where Doug begrudgingly decided to return to the Nostalgia Critic.
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic, and I'm back to remember it so you don't have to.
Nostalgia Critic episodes have now returned in full force, now with more skits and at times preachy messages.
No, they're not just simple kids' books. They're stories that we are continuing to read even today. They're stories that we remember years later, even when other stories fade from our memory.
Trust me, this will be important later. Though unfortunately for him, with his return to YouTube, copyright is still an issue. Past videos of his, as well as current videos, would still get copyright striked at a constant rate. To combat this, he decided to make what he would call clipless reviews, starting with Jurassic World in 2015.
So, rather than wait for it to come out on DVD, we're just gonna jump right into it.
It's essentially still the same format where he recaps the movie scene by scene, but instead of clips from the movies, he has his cast act out a parody version of it. Sound familiar? The next clipless review, Pixels, would follow the same formula, except add a musical number and an Adam Sandler app in the review, I guess.
You painfully obvious metaphor!
While this was still an odd new format for the episodes, he still talked about the movie and his problems with them, despite being a reenactment. The next 2 episodes, however, Mad Max Fury Road and Hocus Pocus, would deviate from that formula entirely, in a way that essentially alienated the audience. Instead of recapping the movie scene by scene and what he thinks about it, Doug would fully reenact the film but put the nostalgia critic in it.
Parents, stop Disney talking about sex.
While his audience really likes those reviews, the dislikes show that many people are not into it. This is mostly because these episodes are barely considered reviews. They're lame parodies with minimal commentary. I'm assuming the commentary comes from the movie characters in the episodes. Notice how I'm now saying episodes instead of reviews. The Fury Road episode tries to add commentary throughout, albeit very shallow.
A Roadrunner cartoon?
With little to no dialogue, quickly identifiable characters, and nothing but chases. Fury Road is the same way. Just because it's all one big chase doesn't mean that it isn't smart.
And the Hocus Pocus episode is literally just a lame Hocus Pocus parody, with his review of it showing up at the very end.
Sup, witches?
How about it? I had good character.
Get it? Cause the innocent character is now a swearing, violent asshole. That's just so funny. It's so funny! Thus, it all leads to the Christmas of the Cranks episode. A very passive-aggressive response to the people criticizing the Clippers reviews, disguised under a decent message. The episode begins with a critic joining the movie he's about to review, saying how outdated, unfunny, and lazy it is.
It's mind-blowing how little this movie tries, how tired the writing is, how it doesn't attempt in any way to give us anything new.
The movie is so bad to him that he wanted to dedicate it as little effort as possible, yearning for the good old days the Santa cries when he starts to appear.
I want to devote as little effort as possible to it. Like the good old days, you know, before I had a budget or a studio. Things were easier and better then.
So Santa Christ teleports the critic to 2007, where he meets his old self.
I get to see all the new ideas Hollywood comes up with? That's right, all three of them.
That's probably the only good joke in the episode. So with the old critic teleported to the present, modern critic introduces his low-effort review.
This is the cheapest possible review I can give to you. Just one asshole piece of shit talking to another asshole piece of shit.
This won't get annoying at all. The review starts as he does the usual clip-by-clip playback of the movie, but after a few cutaways, he'll comment on his past traditions of not having a budget. And surprise, surprise, they get annoying very quickly.
Oh, that's right, I don't have any actors. Well, let me move the camera. Nope, I'm keeping it still. Simple old days.
Sorry, Mike Myers, it's Christmas Town!
You know, the past is a lot more awkward than I remember it.
I get that he was trying to make the point that the past was really awkward and incredibly different from what he's doing now, but the execution is really annoying.
Of course!
Okay, that didn't connect to anything. Yes, it is, but just like that, but
I was frozen today!
none of this
If he could have just inserted the old clip from the past and comment about how weird it was, that would have been fine. But having two whole segments that are just non-stop referencing the past, shoving it in your face at how annoying it is, ironically enough, makes it more annoying than the past. I feel like the section of the episode could have been done in a more passive way. He could start the same way he did in the beginning, and instead of feeling sappy about the good old days, he could be curious to what the past was like and continue it there. Then in the past, the references would slowly build up, and then he wants to return to the present.
I'm sorry, I gotta return to effort! Malcolm!
Jordan, come on.
It's time we lay that joke to rest.
Yeah. Effort. One commercial break later, and the episode starts to get more bitter. The old critic is traumatized to see what the series had become, as the scene turned into a nostalgia critic tradition, a straw man argument. A straw man argument to the people who didn't like the Copas reviews.
Your reviews, they have more variety, actors, and visuals.
Totally subtle there.
Some of these don't even have clips from the movie. Yeah, it's a different kind of reviewing to get a lot of hits. But how the hell can you do a review with no clips? Similar to how other critics did for hundreds of years.
Yes, it is possible the review can be done with no clips. That's why a Jurassic Park and Pixel review worked in a way. He's still reviewing the movie. But with the Mad Max and Hocus Pocus episodes, there's barely any commentary that has some sort of substance.
But 96% on Rotten Tomatoes grade? Yeah, until you realize that according to the critics, that technically means it's better than Pulp Fiction, Fargo, Jurassic Park, Terminator 2, and every Indiana Jones movie.
The commentary in those is very shallow, as ironically shown in the next clip.
You're not saying anything about the movie at all.
Our writing is atrocious and makes no goddamn sense, but you'll laugh because we always use synchronized movement.
Yeah, no commentary in the slightest.
What a great clip to use there. Our writing is atrocious and makes no goddamn sense. Okay, but how? There may be commentary, but like I said before, it's very shallow. Both the Mad Max and the Hocus Pocus episode barely answered the how in what Doug is trying to say. How is Fury Road a Roadrunner cartoon? How is Hocus Pocus a guilty pleasure? How are newcomers supposed to communicate your thoughts of the movie through these sketches if they've never seen your videos before? With the full-on parody approach of these episodes, there's barely any room to go in more depth, especially in terms of reviewing it, unless it's through satire. And even then, the satire is lame and shallow.
Let me unrealistically invite you in to hit on you, because what can I say? I'm settled.
This calls for extremely over-the-top hand gestures.
And I really hate how passive-aggressive he is there. It's directly insulting the audience that he's taking the issues they have with those videos and turning him into a straw man. That straw man being his own self. And for what? To stroke his own ego a bit?
Who knows what this might lead to? Crossovers, anniversary specials, a pointless feud with an angry gamer, and all of them will bomb!
So then, the critic kicks out his old self and continues doing the review in the present. But his old self isn't done yet.
No, I am not done here yet!
In between the review, present critic knows his old critic is still outside, and has Tamara and Malcolm kill him. But since they were barely in the episode, old critic has him knock out present critic and lock him in a storage room, forcing present critic to continue the review there. Not before an almost self-aware moment.
Now the nostalgia critic will be like the old days. Nothing but clips, memes, and if there's time and actual analysis of the movie.
He does know that he still kind of does the same thing, right? Oh yeah, and there's this scene.
Of course.
What was the point? So after getting so pissed off at the ending of the film that he literally explodes, you notice is the old critic recording a review.
And that was my 8-minute review of The Last Airbender. I'm sorry the wall was the wrong color, but hey, at least it's not as bad as a bad credit card! I'll kill you! I'll kill you!
With a lot of things he misunderstands, he really misunderstands his own audience, and really misunderstands why people like his old reviews. While I'm not the biggest fan of them, I do see the charm in those reviews. They're simply videos of him looking at the movie and making jokes about it, sometimes going in depth about what's wrong with it. It's something that can easily be digested. It's like watching a movie with a friend of yours and making fun of the stupid shit that happens in it. The problem with the Clippers reviews is not that there's a budget and effort put into them, it's that it's taken away what makes Nostalgia Critic special to people. People don't want him to see him go back to screen out a back credit card, they just wanted to see him talk about a movie and his opinions on it. Keep the skits in, I guess, just don't have it lose focus on the review. And I actually think he followed through with that recently, which I'll get to later. But for now, things are gonna get real pretentious. The old critic then uploads his review and would get backlash for it.
And the comments, they're not positive at all. Gosh, it's almost like the majority of online comments are usually negative.
The overacting makes it a little hard to take it seriously.
When you're not. It's actually a musical app. Yeah, you listen to the music, it lets you know. It's actually heard it so many times, my personality actually kind of changes along with it. I figure maybe if I can make them laugh, I could finally get them to like me.
Then all of a sudden it turns into a self-pity for him as it shows flashbacks of the critic's past of him getting bullied and rejected.
Hey Spielberg, what's the name of your next movie? Attack of the 50-Foot Forehead?
Maybe we could hang out.
Ew, gross.
And honestly, it really rubs you the wrong way. It went from shitting on his past work to being passive-aggressive in his audience, then to a self-pity about how he wants to do reviews to make people happy. These tonal shifts do not blend together well at all, especially of how on the nose they tend to be. And at worst, they feel manipulative, especially after he insulted the audience for not liking the Clippers reviews. So then, the message of the episode happens.
We're not who we were. We change. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse, but we all change. But we shouldn't be ashamed of our past, nor should we glorify it. There's good moments in bad times, and there's bad moments in good times. Sometimes we obsess over things when we don't need to. Other times we try something new when we probably should have left good enough alone. The choices we make now are what always has and always will define who we are. When you're remembering to be kind and understanding of others, remember to be kind and understanding of yourself.
You know what the worst part about that is? He's not wrong. In fact, dare I say, it's actually a really good message. It made me see what Doug was trying to do with the episode. He was trying to show the struggles of the past and the present. The struggles of facing your past actions and adapting into the present. We all hate our past selves, and it's really awkward and embarrassing to revisit the past. Some people not like the changes you make to adapt from it, but if it makes you feel more comfortable and changes you for the better, then go for it. What matters most is that you learn from the past and grow from its experiences. In theory, that would make for a pretty good episode, but in execution, it comes across as an episode that has a good message, but it's hidden under layers of anger and passive aggressiveness, some of that directed towards the audience, which again makes it insulting. Take out the strawman arguments about the Clippers reviews, take out the in-your-face references, take out the emotionally manipulated flashbacks, and have it be a passive tale of confronting the awkwardness of the past, and how that past can help you change in the present, and then it'll be a pretty good episode. But that is sadly not the case here. The Christmas with the Cranks episode is the worst episode for me personally, because it shames the audience for criticizing the Clippers reviews, mocks the past a little too much, and also tries to have a message to the audience about change on top of that. It just feels wrong. As the years go on, Clippers reviews still get made and released. Hell, he even made a Clippers review of The Force Awakens immediately after the one I just talked about. Personally, the later ones vary in quality. The Batman v Superman review was honestly my favorite one for how accurate it is, as well as having some good jokes.
This is it. We barely have a reason to hate each other except we hate the fact that the other one kills. I'll kill you for that!
But episodes like the Suicide Squad review, Phantom of the Opera, and Deadpool 2 just feel very draining to watch. While they provide more commentary than the Fury Road and Hocus Pocus episodes, they still don't have that charm of the usual Nostalgia Critic episode. The charm of a man sitting down and talking / making fun of movies. Side note, 3 of his Clippers reviews were actually shown in the theater. The Hollywood Boulevard Theater in Illinois to be exact. Those reviews being for Suicide Squad, It 2017, and It Chapter 2. All for the low price of... Dude, AMC tickets cost less than that, what the fuck?
When you bring me out, and you introduce me as Joe. You could get woke points with the progressive demographic. How? You could identify as clown. Well, just be ready now.
And of course, in 2019, Doug decided to release Nostalgia Critic's The Wall, now deemed as not only one of the worst reviews of all time, but one of the worst albums of all time. How can you achieve the worst at both? That episode has all the issues I had mentioned with Fury Road and Hocus Pocus, but even worse. As mentioned by several people, it's a gross misunderstanding of the movie, with awful lyrics on top of that.
Oh, Roger Waters, did you ever wonder why these images of slaughter made it in a film that also sings about how high school bites?
Roger Waters' father died in World War II. The broken school system was a direct result of World War II.
Don't forget the effects. The effects are really bad, but you probably knew that already. Of course, the Clippers reviews continue afterwards, even after a tremendous backlash, with It Chapter 2 and Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. Then after the Star Wars one, the Clippers reviews just stopped. And it's probably for the best. Despite all of this though, I don't want to end this video on a bitter note. Because ironically enough, despite the preaching about change, his more recent videos from 2020 onwards have changed for the better. When he does actually talk about the movie, he goes more in depth to it, and surprisingly actually does try to get the point of it. It seems that now more than ever, Doug is more interesting in talking about movies. That's why miniseries like Career Dive and Freak Show Cinema exist, to go more in depth about specific parts about the things that impact him about movies. While the skits are still there, they don't take up most of the review, and they're just there to be silly and fun. And that I think is a really good balance for the episodes now. I don't blame anyone for giving up on the series, whether it's with the Clippers reviews, the Christmas with the Cranks episode, the document, or somewhere in between. To me though, I still think he deserves a new chance. Doug is not malicious, he's maliciously incompetent, if that makes any sense. The Nostalgia Critic has his ups and downs over the series' lifespan, but I think right now, it's hit a good middle ground. Or, you know, you can just go back to bigger skits and Clippers reviews at any point. I'm just saying that in case I jinx myself.
Reviewing the Jurassic Park movies has been a big tradition around here, and we're not gonna let Hollywood stop it. Rather than wait for it to come out on DVD, we're just gonna jump right into it. done. Just thought this would change everything, you know? I almost got it. When you're remembering to be kind and understanding of others, remember to be kind and understanding of yourself. Nobody knows what the future holds, but there's two things that are guaranteed. There's going to be a lot of anger, and there's going to be a lot of love. And trust me when I say, you're definitely worth the time. Use them wisely. I get to see all the new ideas Hollywood comes up with? That's right, all three of them.